When we call something a juggernaut, we imagine an unstoppable, destructive force that flattens anything in its path. But that definition is rooted in a 13th century European misunderstanding of the Rath Yatra in Puri, India. Early foreign observers saw these towering wooden chariots being pulled by thousands of devotees and, gripped by fear, described it as a mindless, crushing spectacle. Puri is one of the four most sacred sites in Hinduism, yet the gods at the center of this festival deviate from almost every traditional rule of how a Vedic deity is supposed to look. Standard Hindu iconography typically demands precise stone carvings with human-like features. Here, the figures are carved from wood. Krishna appears with his siblings rather than a consort, and all three possess abstract faces and unfinished limbs. These wooden forms act as a physical record of a religion that engineered its survival by absorbing various cultures it encountered over 1,000 years. Lord Jagannath began as Nila Madhava, a localized forest deity worshipped exclusively by the indigenous Savara community. The foundational myth tells of King Indrayavana, who discovered the god and hired the divine architect, Vishwakarma, to carve new, magnificent idols to share the deity with the world. Vishwakarma demanded to work in total isolation, but the king eventually lost patience and opened the workshop door early. The architect vanished, leaving the wooden idols frozen in their incomplete state. By keeping the idols unfinished, the mainstream Vedic tradition created a bridge to the forest tribes. The Subhadras could see their ancestral wooden icons in the new temple, while the Orthodox priests could officially welcome the deity as an avatar of Vishnu, merging two distinct religions through a single shared image. By the 12th century, the Eastern Ganga dynasty transformed this forest tradition into an institutional powerhouse. Ting Ananta Varman built the Sri Jagannath Temple, replacing tribal shrines with imposing stone structures. But locking a populous god inside a massive stone fortress created a political risk. The king had to ensure that the diverse, local population who originally worshipped the god didn't feel replaced by royal authority. He established the Chera Pahara ritual. Before the chariots can move, the king of Puri must publicly sweep the chariot platforms with a gold-handled broom, acting as a humble street sweeper for the god. This act of ceremonial humility placed the deity above the monarchy, successfully uniting the common populace and the ruling class under a single royal-sanctioned tradition. In the 16th century, the Bhakti movement further dismantled religious barriers. Figures like Sri Chaitanya argued that devotion was a personal right, accessible to everyone, not just those at the top of the social ladder. Traditional temple layouts functioned as a series of physical filters. High walls and restricted entrances kept the deity deep in the center, accessible only to a small circle of priests, while the majority of the populace remained in the outer courtyards. The Rath Yatra physically removed the god from that gated center and placed him in the public streets. By moving the idols through the city, the festival erased the barriers of the temple and allowed the god to belong to the masses. For those few days each year, the strict hierarchies of the temple were suspended, and the street became the sanctuary. In 1967, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and the Hare Krishna movement exported this local tradition to the West, organizing chariot processions in San Francisco, London, and New York. What was once a regional festival is now a global marker of cultural identity, celebrated in over 100 cities across several continents. The secret to this 1,000-year survival lies in a commitment to impermanence. These massive chariots are built entirely from scratch every year, using wooden pegs rather than iron nails. Even the gods themselves are mortal. Through the Nabha-Kalabara ritual, the old wooden bodies are periodically buried and replaced by new idols carved from fresh timber. The Rath Yatra reveals the true nature of a juggernaut. It is an engine of renewal. By refusing to let its sacred objects become permanent, the tradition ensured it could always absorb new influences and rebuild itself for the next generation.